Well, hello. This is my first ever live, both in YouTube. Um, and I am here today because I want to be able to talk to you about high blood sugar and specifically what happens in terms of A1C. And what I mean by that is that when you have an elevated A1C, there are things already that has happened in your body for that A1C to become elevated. And let me tell you a little bit about what I am actually talking about. So the way that I see this is that your high A1C is actually the peak of a mountain. So when you are hiking or when you climb, there is a lot of things that go on before you actually can get to the peak. And even thought sometimes getting to the peak of your hiking and of the mountain is actually something that it's just awesome and you enjoy the view. Right now, you might not be feeling like you are enjoying having high A1C and elevated blood sugar levels. But this is what I mean. Like the high A1C is the peak of the mountain. So before you actually develop like prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, there are things that have been happening in your body that are slowly leading to you having problems and difficulties breaking up and using the carbs and the fats that you eat in a healthy way in your body. So there are some factors that are like the base of the mountain, kind of like where the mountain is located. And these are factors that you cannot change. Yet there are things that you can, and I'm going to talk about that. So, for example, your genes, you cannot change that. You cannot change the health of your parents at the moment of them having you. And what I mean by that is what we mean the preconception weight of your parents when they created you. And I'm talking about both mom and dad because both of them actually influences your health as a child. You also do not have control or cannot change your ethnicity. So we know that, for example, Hispanics like me, Latinos, we are actually one of the populations that have the highest incidence of diabetes in the United States. The Mexican American and Puerto Rican, and I'm Puerto Rican, those are actually at the highest. So, yes, I cannot change that. So, I cannot take the mountain and move it to a different place. So, the mountain is already there. But there are things that we can start to do. And those are the things that I will talk about. But I want to tell you what are the changes that happen in your body before you get that elevated A1C. So, yes, there is a distribution of your fat tissue that we know that when it tends to accumulate around the center of your body, so like in your belly and in your hips, specifically for women, whether it is that you have a little bit more of that typical body type, or whether it be that you have entered the perimenopause and menopause stage where it accumulates there, that accumulation, when that accumulation starts, then that again starts to interfere with how your body is going to use the carbs and the fats that you're eating. Another thing that starts to like change slowly, that is kind of like the climbing of the mountain, is when you start to get the results of your cholesterol and you have high triglycerides and your good cholesterol is flowing, right? So the balance starts to go like, whoop, and it starts to tilt. So that lets us know that your body is already having difficulties with the metabolism, right, of these carbs and of these fat. Other things that start to happen as we age, for some women more than others, is that your level of stress can go up when you get married, when you have kids, when you move, when you get a new job, when there is a divorce that happens, right? So these events really provoke stress, elevate cortisol, which is a hormone that will not be good for your blood sugar. And if that level of like stress, trauma, fear does not come down, then your cortisol level continues to be elevated and continues to, right, contribute in not such a good way to your blood sugar levels and to your A1C being elevated. There's also changes that happen in some hormones that actually control your hunger, right? And when you are hungry and when you want to eat and how much you want to eat. And those changes also will affect your blood sugar level. And then on top of that, right, we live in a culture that unfortunately the food that we eat is not the most healthy, right? We really, in this culture nowadays, we really have to be really purposeful about making the right decisions in terms of the food that we use. So growing up, and then your adolescent, and then your early childhood, early adult years, maybe you haven't been eating, the food that is like the most beneficial for that environment where you were already born in, right? So, as I said, the mountain is located in a place where you cannot change it, right? So those are your genes, your ethnicity, your parents' preconception weight, right? But then what happens is that you have been for that environment where the mountain is located. Let's say that what would be most appropriate is, I don't know, just an example, for it to rain every day, right? The mountain is in the rainforest. So the most appropriate thing for it to stay really healthy and everything green and everything grows and beautiful is for it to rain every day. But something happens and it's not raining every day. So that's what I mean by the food choices that you have been making or that have been made for you, right? Because we know that it's also associated with your family of origin, right? What you learned to eat at home, what was given to you. But what I mean by this is there has been decades of you maybe not eating the most appropriate thing for your body, taking into consideration that you were already born with a genetics predisposition, with the ethnicity, with your parents' preconception weight. So after years of the food not being the most adequate to feed you for your needs, then that also starts to accumulate and create problems. Maybe when you're 5, it doesn't. Maybe when you're 10, it doesn't, right? But then slowly, when you start to reach 25, 35, and because our food environment has changed so much, I now see young adults in their 20s, mid 20s, mid 30s that already have what we consider like elderly or older people, medical conditions, so like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, being one of the first things that we see when people start to have difficulties using the carbs and the fats that they are eating to actually do what they need to do in the body. Because we need them, we have to eat them so that our bodies can continue to work and function. That's one of the things that you can change and make changes. Now, the other thing, right, that happens, and this happens a lot in this society, is that we have become more and more sedentary. And I hear a lot lately, like, we have to eat more protein, we have to eat more protein, we have to eat more protein. But I'm not sure that if you eat more and more protein, that might be beneficial, because then you're not moving. So you might be eating a lot of protein, which, again, we know the amount of protein that people need. And if you're eating more than it, that what you need, your body's not going to use it to build the muscles unless you're doing something to build the muscles. And it's this, we are just a very sedentary, right? So think about how many years ago we didn't have cars, or we have more public transportation, or how many people use their bikes on a daily to do their daily things, to go to work. And this can be true in certain geographical areas compared to others. But the more you do not move, the more you don't use your muscles, then you start to lose, right, the little machines in your body that are super important to help you regulate your blood sugar level, to help you in how your body can use the fat and the carbs that you have to eat, because we need to nourish our bodies. So there's these changes that start to happen in your body slowly, that a lot of the times are happening before your A1C gets high. And the thing is that these changes are not measured by your doctor. So you are not aware that this is going on. Nobody's telling you. Maybe what you notice is that you have been gaining weight, that you're not a size, 2 anymore. But you do not know that basically is because there are changes happening in your body and how your body uses fats and carbs, that it eventually is going to lead to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. And then the other thing that happens also slowly that you might not be aware of is the changes in hormones, and specifically for women, with estrogen comes down during perimenopause and menopause. And those are things that maybe you say, well, maybe I can control. There is hormone replacement therapy. There's like some things that, you can do. But my message is, let's not wait until menopause, until the 50s, to then do the things. And I think that for women specifically, the reason that it is in their mid-40s to mid-50s that they start to pay a little bit more of attention, and for some generations it's different. But I really think that it is because we have focused so much on other people and serving other people and putting other people first. Other, and nothing about me and nothing about my health. So, if you want to learn more how you can understand what are the changes that are happening in your body slowly, what are the things that you actually need to pay attention to, I invite you to join my workshop because it is happening next Tuesday. But most of all, you can follow me here on social media so that you can start to understand why metabolic dysfunction happens, how you can prevent it early on, because metabolic dysfunction means that you start to accumulate more fat in your belly, your triglycerides go up, which is one of the numbers that we look at in your cholesterol panel. Your blood sugar level starts to go up, and then your blood pressure starts to go up. So think about, are any of these what's going on right now in your body? And if you need help, because the reality is the medications won't go into the root cause and help you transform your metabolism, that dysfunction, that way that your body is using the fats and the carbs in a way that then you can live without the negative consequences of type 2 diabetes and of pre-diabetes, specifically of type 2, which we know that it affects your sight, it's going to affect kidneys, it's going to affect your liver, it can lead to amputations of your extremity. So the reality is, if you continue to delay and you do not do anything for the reason that you're choosing to procrastinate, because procrastination is a choice, the reality is that eventually you're going to have more difficulty in the future. And the reality is that right now, your kidney function reduces, there's hemodialysis, it's still going to affect your life completely. Your liver goes into not being healthy and you go into liver failure. Unless there's a transplant, you will have problems. So I will put the information for the workshop in the comments. I will put the link where you can go and you can learn about it. Please stay connected with me. If you have any questions or anything that you want me to address, please send me an email to Dr. Maria at salutrevisited.com. So that is DRA MARI at salud, SALUDREVISITED.com. Because I want to help as many women as possible understand the root cause. Change the way that you nourish your body, but then not forget about the other pillars that also affect the metabolism. Because if you only focus on the food, which is extremely important, you're going to get results. You might not get the best results. And if you have been told that doctors cannot help you gain remission or reverse, which is the term that is used out there, your diabetes and your A1C, then I really want you to stick with me, because I am a doctor that is in the mission to helping you come off your pills and your injections. I hope to see you next time, and I hope to see you on Tuesday on the workshop. Until next time, bye-bye.